An aftershock measuring 4.6 on the Richter scale shook northwestern Iran today. It's the largest of 15 that have occurred in just the last 24 hours. Late yesterday, Soviet rescue workers pulled a 9-year-old boy out of the rubble and rushed him to the hospital. He was still alive, but comatose. The continuing aftershocks have caused panic and fear among the survivors and relief workers. One relief worker was killed when a wall crashed down on him during an aftershock. Tehran University's Geophysical Center says the aftershocks could continue for 2 months, but they are now gradually stabilizing. Jurors in the drug and perjury trial of Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry watched dramatic videotape of the mayor smoking crack cocaine the night of his arrest at an FBI sting operation. Barry, meanwhile, contends that he was set up by his former girlfriend, Rashida Moore. Chuck Roberts reports from Washington.
Rashida Moore says Mayor Barry initially was reluctant to visit her at this Washington, D.C. hotel, saying, quote, "There are too many nosy rosies around." And indeed, when the mayor arrived, FBI cameras were focused on his actions. Early on, during a phone conversation, Barry said something that just a half hour later would prove almost prophetically false.
Boy, I tell you, I'm the luckiest man in the world.
Once the mayor was off the phone, he asked Ms. Moore if she'd had any drugs that day and expressed interest when she said a friend was setting up a purchase.
Let's go downstairs and talk to her. I want to help him. I may get a tab.
A tab is slang for a small amount of cocaine. Once the deal was set up, Barry paid for the drugs out of his own pocket. After the goods arrived, the videotape shows the two arguing over who should light up first. The videotape shows him inhaling twice on a pipe. Moments later, the FBI agents moved in.
Mr. Mayor, you understand your rights?
Yeah, set me up like that. You understand your rights, yeah. Okay.
Though he has pleaded innocent to the charges, Barry last month admitted it was crack cocaine he was smoking that night. His defense hinges on claims of entrapment. Barry has said federal prosecutors were trying to kill him by providing the drug. Chuck Roberts, CNN reporting.
Earlier today in Missouri, police raided the rural farm home of singer Chuck Berry, looking for drugs and pornographic materials. Berry was not at the farm this morning, but he showed up at a news conference where police put materials confiscated at his home on display, including marijuana, hashish, 3 weapons, videotapes, and $122,000 in cash. The prosecutor says no charges have been filed against Berry, but the investigation is continuing and the evidence is being analyzed. Berry denied that he used drugs and says someone is out to get him.
A teenager described as a friend of the family has been arrested in connection with the brutal stabbing death of a 9-year-old girl in Anaheim. The body of Autumn Wallace was discovered by her mother in a back bathroom of the family's home 2 weeks ago. Pathologists say the youngster had been stabbed repeatedly. Today, 18-year-old Maria del Rosario Alfaro was taken into custody, charged with murder and burglary. Police say the teenager is well known to family members and had been to the home on many occasions. Investigators are still looking for 2 other suspects, both male. Police say the child was probably killed because she had witnessed the burglary. A tanker truck overturned and spilled 200 gallons of diesel fuel along the Artesia Freeway this morning. California Highway Patrol officers say the truck was traveling too fast on an on-ramp when it crashed. Fire crews had to make dirt barriers to prevent more fuel from running down a storm drain. The tanker was carrying a 4,000-gallon load when it tipped over on the Lakewood Boulevard on-ramp. A hazardous materials squad drilled a hole into the tanker to attach a siphon hose. The fuel was loaded into another tanker and the wreckage cleared after a few hours. No one was injured in the crash.
Traffic was backed up for miles today on the Ventura Freeway near Glendale after a pickup truck overturned in the central lane. Authorities say the truck was traveling east on the 134 near the Glendale Freeway transition when the driver apparently lost control of the vehicle. Witnesses said they heard a loud noise, then saw the truck swerving from side to side before it flipped over. The driver had to be pulled from the truck but was not seriously injured. In tonight's Consumer Trends Report, we take a look at a possible solution to a growing problem. We here in Los Angeles are all too familiar with traffic in communities large and small. and to convert freeways, highways, and even city streets into virtual parking lots. Generally, the answer lies in mass public transportation. But in one community, the solution is on a more private scale. The personal rapid transit system in Morgantown, West Virginia, delivers its passengers to their destinations in small fiberglass cars.
Small vehicles, personalized direct origin to destination travel, all of the attributes that a person is looking for in their private car, but in a public transportation system.
These cars are driverless cars. 30 million people have traveled on the system during the past 15 years. The 3-mile track runs primarily through and around the West Virginia University campus. The cars are electrically powered and run on rubber wheels on a cement track. Riders simply punch in their destination on a computer, and off they go.
Here we go.
You've been staring out there all day. What are you doing?
Trying to figure out which computer is the most powerful.
Well, that's easy. The one with the most memory, megahertz, MIPS, you know.
No, I don't think so.
There we go.
I think the most powerful computer is the one that people actually use.
Macintosh has the power to change the way you look at computers.
But that's not really a fair comparison. People like using the Mac.
The European Auto Rally, the historic spawning ground for Saabs. But now there's a new Saab, powered by the largest engine Saab ever built. But it's also highly civilized and incredibly spacious, because passionate drivers don't just run races. Sometimes they run errands. The 9000S. We don't make compromises. We make Saabs.
Lease a new Saab 9000S for only $399 a month. See your Saab dealer.
Unit 5, you guys won't believe this one. Roll, units.
10-4.
The Riot Act, the new stunt show at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Great show!
All right. To sell a house, it takes more than a handshake, it takes experience. RE/MAX sales associates average twice the experience of other full-time real estate agents. To sell a home, it takes expertise. RE/MAX associates are North America's top producers, outselling the average 3 to 1. To sell your home, do what it takes. Step up to RE/MAX.
Congratulations on your new home.
We're moving, selling homes now. Step up,
Okay, who's making lunch?
She is.
Why don't you both make them?
There's nothing in here to make lunch with.
I'll find you something.
That's okay, I'll find us something.
You'll find great deals at Hughes, like Coke or Pepsi, $1.19. Lay's potato chips, 79 cents. 5-pound Chubb ground beef, 87 cents a pound. Hughes, it's a buyer's market.
Okay, who's driving us to school?
She is.
The lawyer for convicted Nazi war criminal John Demaniuk made a final appeal today to try to save his client's life. Demaniuk, a retired Cleveland auto worker, has been sentenced to death for crimes against humanity. But his lawyer says there is enough doubt to, in his words, take the gallows out of the case. Demaniuk claims he's a victim of mistaken identity and not the World War II gas chamber operator at the Treblinka death camp. Israel's Supreme Court said today it will consider the appeal. Soviet President Gorbachev is attempting to create some support for his political policies from his military leadership. The high command and the country's officer corps have grown increasingly critical of Gorbachev's reform programs. The protests are especially fierce in regard to cuts in defense spending. Gorbachev has made deliberate efforts to pacify the generals and has told Parliament the army should also remain a political entity. In Lithuania, the government there is debating a request for a moratorium on its declaration of independence. The Lithuanian Prime Minister says the moratorium could help lift an economic blockade imposed by the Soviet Union. The blockade has put 50,000 Lithuanians out of work since April and left the country without supplies of natural gas, oil, and other goods. Off the coast of Alaska, a Korean fishing vessel sank in Bristol Bay today after a collision with a Japanese fishing vessel. All 55 crew members were rescued. The accident apparently caused no damage to the ship from Japan. Jen?
Queen Elizabeth II is on a week-long visit to Canada. The British monarch received a warm welcome in the province of Alberta today. When the Queen arrived in Calgary, she was greeted by Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, as well as a cheering crowd. Thousands of people filled the streets of downtown Calgary just to catch a glimpse of the Queen. Following a military salute, the monarch stopped off a while to chat with some of the people in the crowd. Another member of the British royal family in the news, Prince Charles broke his arm during a polo match in England today. The 41-year-old heir to the British throne was injured when he fell from his horse. Prince Charles was playing a regular match at his polo club and was about to make a shot when he lost his balance and fell. Witnesses say that he landed very hard. Prince Charles was taken to a local hospital where he underwent a 45-minute operation to set 2 breaks above the elbow.
Some late developments on the Hubble Space Telescope. NASA engineers in Florida say a focusing flaw in the $1.5 billion telescope can be fixed by making relatively few adjustments. The problem has been pinpointed to a design flaw in one of the telescope's 2 light-gathering mirrors. Officials say the mirrors were ground into the wrong shape, and this prevents the telescope from bringing starlight into focus. Engineers are developing a device similar to a pair of glasses that could be placed over the telescope's lens to help focus light properly, and would have to be installed by a spacewalk conducted by astronauts going up to repair the space telescope in a flight of the space shuttle. A new 3-minute test to diagnose the AIDS virus has been approved by health officials in France. That story's coming up next. We'll have part 1 of a special report on in vitro fertilization, a procedure that enables infertile couples to become parents. I think you'll want to see this important special report when we come right back.
For you right now. Ask your Mazda dealer during the Mazda Summer Sales Event. Whose family sedan will get you $1,000 cash back? Ask your Mazda dealer about 626 now. Whose compact sedan will get you up to $1,285 in savings? Ask about Protege during the Mazda Summer Sales Event.
Ask me about savings on all my Mazdas.
At your Southern California Mazda dealer now.
I have come and gone again and again.
I have ties to many people and memories. I remember when I saw my first American city.
And the last time I saw my country.
I miss my family, my friends.
So I call again and again.
Introducing AT&T Reach Out World. The only way to get so much of the world while lowering your international phone bill by 20%. Now it's easy to say hello again and again for less.
It's Red Lobster's biggest event, Lobster Fest. A dozen lobster specials. Love rock lobster tail? We've got it. Love Maine lobster? Try it in Alfredo sauce for just $8.99. Now, for a few short weeks at Lobster Fest.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
And a kid shrimp dinner just $1.99.
Across the country, news about a new brew is making the rounds. Miller Sharps, a breakthrough non-alcoholic brew with real beer taste. New Miller Sharps lets you keep your edge.
There's a combination of reasons that I like the Shadow over the Civic.
In an independent test, Dodge Shadow was picked over Honda Civic.
The Civic was grossly underpowered and was not as firm handling on the road.
The Dodge Shadow is definitely the overall better car.
Meet the American that beat the Honda. For overall superiority, Dodge Shadow beat Honda Civic, and Shadow is the lowest priced car in the world with a driver's airbag. Now it's easy to own a winner with $750 cash back.
A new 3-minute test to diagnose AIDS has been approved by health officials in France. A pharmaceutical company says the test has a 99.5% of accuracy. And the company says it will enable laboratories to diagnose and define the strain of the AIDS virus more quickly than existing tests. It will cost just $5.50 and will be available to the public in August in France. In Washington, a consumer group called Public Citizen has compiled a list of 7,000 doctors who've been disciplined by state and federal officials throughout the country. In addition to the names of the doctors, the report listed the charges against them. Topping those charges is misprescription of drugs. Other offenses include practicing without a license and drug abuse. The consumer group obtained the information from medical boards in 40 states.
6,892 questionable doctors disciplined by states or the federal government makes public for the first time a nationwide compendium of doctors whose care is at the least questionable.
It lumps together what would be analogous to parking tickets with armed robbery. You can be in this book if you've simply been late in getting your license renewed and paying the fee. You can be in this book if you've been late paying off a student loan.
Public Citizen says only 0.5% of physicians are disciplined for malpractice every year.
The General Accounting Office is calling for an urgent national response to the escalating problem of drug-exposed infants. The federal agency called the nation's drug treatment services for pregnant women insufficient and said such programs must be expanded in the future. One adopted parent describes the problem.
And while he did not have the brain lesions that several researchers have found with crack babies, he was and still is delayed in his development.
Treatment of drug-exposed infants may well become the major public health challenge of the 90s, rivaling even the cost of the savings and loan bailout.
A report last year on the problem estimated 100,000 drug babies are born each year. Modern technology continues to provide solutions to some of the most frustrating medical problems, including infertility. Among the advances, a procedure called in vitro fertilization, which has given many couples a chance at parenthood. In part one of a two-part series, Marta Waller takes a look at one couple's success story.
When a couple finds they cannot have a child due to infertility, the results can be emotionally devastating and incredibly hard on even the best of marriages. Jerry and Sandy Kavikoff had been trying to conceive a child for 3 years before they came to the in vitro fertilization program at South Bay Hospital. From the start, they tried virtually everything, even holistic medicine and acupuncture.
I think you go through a series of stages where at first you look upon yourself as something's wrong. Marriage is tough enough as it is without putting additional pressures on it.
Sandy says the hardest part was dealing with all the negative pregnancy tests after every failed attempt and watching their friends become pregnant. After one IVF cycle at South Bay, Sandy is pregnant with twins. She says she and Jerry have a fresh outlook.
It's a whole bunch of different emotions wrapped up in one. There's talks about future, which we weren't really talking about before because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Dr. Arthur Wissett, an IVF physician at South Bay, has just co-authored a book on infertility with his IVF colleague, Dr. David Meldrum. Dr. Wissett says infertile couples desperately need good, sound information to make informed decisions, and this book provides an essential outline.
It gives them the entire workup that should be done, all of the treatments that should be tried before going on to high-tech reproduction.
The older a couple becomes, the more critical the time factor. Dr. Wissett says that before a program is selected, couples should find out the live birth rate of the program. For Sandy and Jerry, the pregnancy is a new beginning.
Feel real good. It's a pretty incredible feeling to realize that we're going to be, finally expecting a child.
I've never been pregnant, never. And you really start to wonder, well, gosh, can I get pregnant at this point? And even if this doesn't work out, I know that I can get pregnant.
Assisted reproduction is not for the faint-hearted. It takes a tremendous amount of time, patience, and cooperation. But successes are considered miracles. And tomorrow night, we'll meet a couple who have gone through successful in vitro fertilization and are now trying to have their second child. In Redondo Beach, Marta Waller, Channel 5 News at 10.
Much more still ahead tonight here on News at 10. Flames continue to rage through the mountains of northeastern Arizona. We'll have the latest details on that devastating forest fire. And 3 Van Gogh paintings have been stolen in an art theft. We'll have those stories and much more for you when we come right back.
On June 29th, the AT&T free installation offer on this new 800 service in California will end. Listen.
Did you know there's a new 800 service for businesses in California?
It's AT&T 800 Ready Line service, and it's for any size business.
Now you can get 800 calls from inside and outside California on your regular lines.
No special lines, no special equipment. It's that easy. And it's also affordable.
Just $20 a month plus usage. And what's usage? It's potential sales, customer contacts.
It's building your business through customer service and sales support. Call us now at 1-800-638-6650. We'll waive the installation fee.
And we can have you up and running in 4 business days.
Affordable and easy. AT&T 800 Ready Line. What are you waiting for? Time is running out. Call before June 29th while installation is still free. AT&T 800 Ready Line. Another AT&T advantage.
We gotta make this ferry.
Dad, the boat.
They're not back here either.
I just had them.
We're gonna make it.
This family's vacation could be in big trouble. But the traveler's checks they lost were American Express. And American Express can hand deliver a refund virtually anywhere.
They'll bring them to the island.
Make sure you take only American Express traveler's checks. Don't leave home without them.
The thing about roads is they often come with bumps. The thing about the Infiniti Q45 performance luxury sedan is it comes with all the amenities. Lots of bumps, all the amenities. It's a bump when you don't even feel it.
Free padding is coming! Free padding is coming! Through July 4th, you'll get low prices, free padding, and no payments till next year, only at Carpeteria.
A forest fire continues to rage in the mountains of northeastern Arizona. That blaze has blackened 15,000 acres and destroyed 60 homes, including a cabin built back in the 1920s by Western novelist Zane Grey. The fire is spreading quickly through the Tonto National Forest. The gusty winds are spreading the flames in different directions at different times. Forestry officials say the flames are creating temperatures near the blaze of 1,000 degrees, and the dry brush is igniting just from the heat. Firefighters hope to have the blaze contained sometime this weekend. Well, one of the big stories, of course, is the weather, and let's find out all about that now from Jan.
Finally, I think we'll have a little bit of relief. Not a lot, but some. Clear and cooler tonight. The lows will be in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, fair and sunny, and finally, temperatures will cool. Highs may only reach the mid to upper 80s. Warm temperatures throughout much of the U.S. today. Atlanta, Denver, St. Louis, Billings, and Dallas all reported readings in the 90s. Miami up to 89, New York City 87, and Chicago 85. The high today in Los Angeles, downtown, much cooler than yesterday with 94 degrees. The low, 69. Sunrise tomorrow at 5:44, sunset at 8:08. Currently, the temperature at the Civic Center stands at 75 degrees, relative humidity 44%, barometric pressure 29.75, and that's rising slightly, and the winds are out of the southwest at 6 miles per hour. Clear with light winds tonight. The lows will be in the mid to upper 60s in many areas. Santa Barbara will cool to 55, and that will hopefully help the firefighting efforts there. Oceanside may drop to 59. Palm Springs only drop to 76. Fair with sunny skies and cooler temperatures tomorrow. The highs along the coast will be in the 70s. The valleys will vary from the low 90s to near 100. Palmdale and Riverside will both break the 100-degree mark again tomorrow. Big Bear up to 85. The next few days, we will continue to have lots of sunshine. The temperatures will be in the upper 80s in the downtown area. Then on Sunday, our typical June morning low clouds will return, and that should help. The temperatures should continue to cool, but just slightly. Tonight's weather slide may help cool things off just a bit. It is of South Lake near Bishop. And we'd like to thank Kirby Barno of Ukaipa for sharing this with us. If you have a copy of a favorite slide you'd like to send us, here's our address. KTLA News, P.O. Box 500, Los Angeles, 90078. So there may be some relief with slightly cooler temperatures. The skies will remain sunny with our morning marine layer returning on Sunday. Hal?
I have a story about art for you. In the Netherlands, 3 paintings by Vincent van Gogh have been stolen from a small museum near Amsterdam. Officials say that the burglar or burglars entered the museum by smashing a window, and they say the alarm system did not work and nobody was alerted to the theft. Museum authorities say the combined worth of the 3 paintings is $5 million, but art experts point out that these well-known paintings would be very difficult to sell on the open market. Ed Arnold is up next. He has all the sports action for you, including a roundup of the major leagues, top seed action from Wimbledon, and Bill Cosby stars in a new comedy about a very unique dad. That's coming up in Jen's Hollywood Report right after Ed Arnold in sports.
Oh, my God. Where'd he go?
Daddy?
What do you mean, where'd he go? I'm right here.
He just vanished. Great trick, Dad. Where'd you go?
I'm treating myself today. Call it a little celebration. Sliced sirloin, smothered in grilled onions and lots of melting cheese. Everything I love on a toasted roll. What's a special occasion? Lunch.
The new sirloin cheesesteak from Jack in the Box. Juicy sirloin sliced thin with grilled onions and melting cheese on a toasted steak roll. For exciting new taste, this is the place.
I love to celebrate.
It's no secret why some room additions outshine others. Discover the beauty of Anderson windows and patio doors. A beauty that seems to get better with age. Get this 100-page book of window and patio door ideas at these Anderson dealers.
Windows, doors, and more. Rain Set Incorporated, San Pedro Doors and Screens, Lindsay Lumber.
There's a new day dawning. You feel it in the air. The world is growing closer. You see it everywhere.
Cathay Pacific. For the new world of international travelers, LA to Hong Kong non-stop.
There's a new world. There's a new world. On Cathay.
The bigger than ever, better than ever 1991 Chevy S10 Blazer 4-door.
I said, let's take my Blazer. I think he was impressed.
America's best-loved sport utility vehicle.
I said, no problem. I think he was impressed.
With InstaTrack, simply shift in and out of four-wheel drive on the fly. The 4-door Chevy S10 Blazer 4x4. Come open one up and see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Impressed. He was blown away.
Days truckers
Faye Dunaway.
She's crazy.
Mickey Rourke.
You know, every time I get with a woman, something happens.
A world television premiere. Francis Ford Coppola presents Firefly. Monday at 8 on Channel 5.
Tonight's sports report is brought to you by the Los Angeles area Midas Muffler and Brake Shops. For mufflers, brakes, shocks, and struts, see the experts at Midas.
Stu Nahan is still on vacation. He's coming back next week.
Oh, yeah, he'll be back Monday.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, he's excited about it.
Yeah, so's everyone else. And,
well, thank you very much.
Sorry, I just put it on.
No, yeah, he took his job.
Yeah.
That's okay. But you know who else was traveling today? A couple of baseball teams. Today, I knew I'd get you on that. Today was a travel day for the Angels, who open a 10-game road trip tomorrow in Cleveland. You'll be able to see that game here on Channel 5 at 4:30. The Dodgers also happen to be traveling today. The team returned home to face St. Louis, Chicago, and Pittsburgh. That'll be before the Major League All-Star break. Tomorrow, the Cardinals open a 3-game series at the Ravine. West met East at Shea Stadium tonight. Top of the 5th inning with the Mets leading 3-0. Eric Davis took Doc Gooden deep to left, 3-2 New York. But in the bottom of the 6th, Darryl Strawberry matched his L.A. running mate's clout with one of his own, 4-2 Mets. New York held on to win at 5-4. and now trail Pittsburgh by only 1 game. And that's 10 straight wins for the New Yorkers. John Franco came on to pick up his 14th save. The Cardinals snapped a 4-game losing streak. Lee Smith earned his 8th save. The Padres and Astros met in Houston today. Joe Carter's 2-out single in the 3rd inning scored Ed Whitson. San Diego led it 1-0. The game was tied at 1 in the bottom of the 10th when, with 1 out, Eric Anthony doubled down the right field line. Craig Biggio came all the way around from first to score, and it was the game-winning run for Houston. Mark Grant took the loss for the Padres, who have lost 4 of their last 5 games. And a 9th-inning pinch-hit single by Marvell Wynn scored the game-winning run for the Cubs. The coaching staffs for the All-Star game were announced today. Pittsburgh's Jim Leyland and Don Zimmer of the host Cubs will join Roger Craig in the National League dugout. Tony La Russa selected Seattle's Jim Lefevre, Baltimore's Frank Robinson, and Jeff Torborg of the White Sox. The defensive play of the day was supplied in Minnesota. Former Dodger Cecil Espy went beyond the call of duty to rob Kirby Puckett of a sure extra base hit. Texas wound up winning the game 8-6. The Rangers had 15 hits, including a club record-tying 7 doubles. Scott Bradley hit a 2-out, 3-run homer in the 8th for the Mariners to hand $16 million relief pitcher Mark Davis his 5th loss of the year. A relaxing day in the Bronx for Milwaukee manager Tom Trebelhorn. His team trailed 2-1 in the top of the 9th, but with 1 swing, Gary Sheffield tied the game. His 4th homer of the year came off Dave Righetti. However, the Yankees put the game away in the bottom of the 9th. Bob Guerin doubled down the right field line. Deion Sanders scored the game-winning run. Sanders' stay in prime time ended after the game when he was optioned out to the Yankees' AAA affiliate in Columbus. The Tribe won, win number 12 for Roger Clemens of the Red Sox. Several matches were held up in Wimbledon today, but instead of the ever-present London rain, it was a bomb scare. The English police took the threat seriously, delaying several matches for about 30 minutes. Now, the men's top seed, Yvonne Lindell, in the far court, played a second-round match today against Jacob Polasek of Switzerland, who was hoping for the upset. But Lindell dominated right from the start. He won the first 2 sets without any trouble, 6-1, 6-3. Lindell just got stronger as the match went on. He's trying to win his first Wimbledon singles title, if you can believe. And if he continues to play like he did today, watch out. Can it last on the grass, though, for Lindell? Third-seeded Stefan Edberg easily moved into the 3rd round, as did Placencia's Michael Chang. However, 15th-seeded Henri Leconte became the 7th men's seed to fall. Second-seeded Martina Navratilova, in the near court, faced Ann Smith in the women's feature match today. Martina is trying to win a record 9th Wimbledon singles title. Again, she had no trouble today beating Smith in straight sets. 4th-seeded Gabriela Sabatini also advanced to the 3rd round, while 15th seed Roz Fairbank became the 4th-seeded woman ousted. After the big draft yesterday, the LA Clippers today released the names of Coach Mike Schuler's staff. His assistant coaches will be John Hammond and Alvin Gentry. The trainer will be Keith Jones. Hammond was most recently with Minnesota, while Gentry spent the last 2 seasons in San Antonio. Golf round 1 of the U.S. Senior Open in scenic Paramus, New Jersey. It's only fitting that Lee Trevino is the leader after today's play. Since joining the circuit several months ago, Trevino has been unstoppable. He fired a 567 today to lead 5 others by 1 stroke. Trevino and Arnold Palmer head the field for Greg Norman's REMCC Invitational that will take place out at the Sherwood Country Club in November.
Well, not very often I can go out and play with Nicholas and play a scramble or an alternate shot or a best ball. And, you know, Curtis and Mark O'Meara, the way they performed last year to win it. I mean, they shot scores that was mind-boggling. But we can relate to that. You know, it's a format that's different. We had a lot of fun, and everybody enjoyed it.
This is a relevant week where they're honoring the player that was the last one selected in the draft. It happens to be Demetrius Davis of the Raiders. And what they did today is had the Irrelevant Week Shot Clock Golf Tournament at the Newport Beach Golf Course. It was won by 62-year-old Duke Genther of Newport. Mark Caparimo of Anaheim Hills actually played 1 hole from the tee shot to the putt in only 27 seconds. They juiced that thing up pretty good. That's sports, Al.
Okay, Ed. We'll be back with much more league news for you and Bill Cosby. But first, a look at tonight's winning deco hand.
Whether it was built here or overseas, whether it's a car, truck, or van, from brakes to suspension to the very tailpipe of your car, nobody can touch us.
We're carrying the most complete line of mufflers.
For the latest in front-end technology.
By trained brake experts who do the job right and right away.
For a guarantee that's good all over the country.
For value and price. And for putting more smiles on more customers' faces, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
You remember the night? The plane was 3 hours late. There was one thing after another. You were staying at the something or other plaza.
Sir, there's been a problem with your room. We're going to have to upgrade you to a suite.
If you remember that night, come to guest quarters. Nothing beats a suite in a first-class hotel.
Right now, in thousands of comfortable places all across America, it's a friendly, easy time. It's Miller time. At Miller, we've always brewed our beer carefully and responsibly, and that's how we'd like you to drink our beer, carefully and responsibly. So the next time you're having any one of our beers, the next time it's Miller time for you, we'd like to ask you to do one very simple thing. Be responsible. Think when you drink.
1, 2, 3.
Sniper. Free fall. Revolution. Roaring rapids. Tidal wave.
Welcome.
We'd like to ask you to make a small contribution to one of the most worthwhile causes in California.
Start recycling.
Announcing a world-class value in four-door sedans at a special price, the Hyundai Excel.
More horsepower. Power. Multi-point.
Fuel injected.
More power.
Automatic.
Automatic 4-speed.
Overdrive?
Sure.
Stereo, too.
Stereo cassette.
Stereo.
Really?
Honest.
Wipers.
Intermittent wipers. Rear defogger. More room.
More headroom. More legroom. Bucket seats.
5-passenger living room.
Tinted glass.
Dual remote mirror.
Mirrors. Nice wheels.
The Excel four-door sedan from Hyundai, now specially priced at just $71.99. For more information on this world-class value, call 1-800-826-CARS.
In our Wall Street report tonight, Texas oilman T. Boone Pickens stormed out of a Japanese stockholders meeting in Tokyo today. Pickens was upset about being denied a seat on the board of directors of the Koito Manufacturing Company. Koito is Japan's largest auto parts maker, and Pickens owns 26% of its stock. Company officials say he was rejected because they felt he was trying to make a hostile bid for power. In Tokyo, the dollar sharply lower in Friday's session against the yen, down about 1.5 points, 1.55 yen, to close at 152.87 yen. The Nikkei Dow slightly higher in Friday's trading. Wall Street today higher for the second consecutive trading session, up 16.58. Price of gold was up 70 cents, silver gained 2 cents, and platinum was up about $1.50 today. Now with tonight's Hollywood report, let's go to Jan.
Okay, first off, the winners of the Daytime Emmy Awards. The award ceremony took place in New York City today. The daytime soap Santa Barbara won 4 Emmys, including Best Soap Opera. Other awards went to A. Martinez, who was named Best Actor for his role as Cruz Castillo. Henry Darrow was named Best Supporting Actor, and Santa Barbara also won the Best Directing Award. Susan Lucci, in her 11th try, lost out to the actress Kim Zimmer of Guiding Light as Best Actress in today's awards ceremony. Joan Rivers was named Outstanding Daytime Talk Show Host, but the program's Sally Jesse Raphael won the overall Emmy as Best Talk Show. In the new film Ghost Dad, Bill Cosby stars as Elliot Hopper. Now, he's an overworked widower who dies, but returns as a ghost with only a few days to arrange for his children's future. Elliot struggles to put financial matters in order for his family. Finally, though, he comes to a rude awakening and finds out what the best security is that he could ever give his children. I'm not going to give that away. Ghost Dad opens at Los Angeles theaters on Friday. And that's tonight's Hollywood Report. Hal?
And that's news at 10 for tonight. Thanks for joining us, and do have a good night.